and it went out. All right, take 3. Oh boy, my goodness. All right, take 3. Welcome to Cask Strength. My name is Vito. We're gonna try and get through this one more time. So this is the 3rd time I'm recording maybe 15 minutes of footage. The first time, what was the reason for the first time that I messed up? The first time I messed up because the camera wasn't angled right. The second time I messed up because my mic wasn't hooked up. So my cigar's almost done, not quite done. And I'm smoking a Romeo and Julieta No.3, by the way, which is fairly easy for myself to grab. The majority of cigars in my humidor are Cuban. The benefit of living in Canada, I do apologize, Americans. This may be a little bit difficult for you to get, but hopefully this video is still entertaining for you guys. So it's a beautiful day. I decided to bring everything outside and do an episode like this. I think it would be very interesting. I'm not going to cut out anything from this episode. I'm just going to give you guys the entire raw footage. I think we're just going to try it out, see if you guys really like seeing me go through the progressions and everything. I'm going to try and go as quickly as I can, just because now this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is going to be my 8th, 9th, and 10th ounce on a fairly empty stomach, and a cigar. So we're going to see how things go. But I will give you guys a breakdown of everything. So we're going to start with the Wild Turkey 101, which is my favorite go-to bourbon. In Canada, we're looking at about $40 for this baby, which in my opinion is well worth it. This is my 3rd bottle. It's wonderful in a cocktail. It's wonderful neat. I've really grown to love the 101. And let's see what we get differently on this guy as opposed to normal. So normally with the 101, and the review is up here, I'm probably going to do a revisit of this guy and do it, just update the look. The video that we're linking to was one of my first videos actually, and I did a combo review and Canadian Old Fashioned with the 101. So if you guys like it, let me know. I'll revisit it. But yeah, so normally with the 101, I get a lot of sugars and peanuts. Nothing too crazy. It's just a really well-rounded bourbon, in my opinion. And now let's see what we get with the cigar. All right, so it's evolved from just plain sugar and moved into more of a creme brulee almost. The sugars are burnt, and there's a rich berryness happening as well, along with the traditional bourbon notes of the vanillas, the barrel notes, right? So all the oak and wood impact. A bit of a peanut, very slight peanut, but still very, very wonderful. If anything, it's probably a little bit better with the cigar, because there's a bit of a peppery note as well that kind of comes through. I really like it on the nose. All right, let's try for the taste. Yeah, okay, so normally with the 101, there's a bit of an alcohol burn because of the higher proof. All right, it is 101 proof, 50 and a half ABV. Also, I do apologize if you guys are catching anything in the background. There's a lot of construction in my area today, of course, because why wouldn't there be? It's a beautiful day. and it's just ruined by construction. But yeah, it's definitely better than it is by itself, and I love it by itself. Yeah, it's very, very good. And I think that berry note that I was describing before in the nose, I think it's just like a really juicy blueberry, which is kind of weird, but that's just what I'm picking up. I'm probably describing it wrong, but to me, it's like a very juicy blueberry. It's very good, even in this heat. Also, I didn't put any sunscreen on. I've been out here for close to 45 minutes now. Oh well. All right. Going from my favorite bourbon, my favorite go-to bourbon, to my favorite go-to Irish. Now, as you all know, my favorite Irish of all time and my favorite whiskey of all time was the Redbreast 32-year-old Dream Cask. Obviously, this is nowhere near that, but it's still a wonderful, wonderful whiskey. Just loads and loads of cereal, honey, and lavender notes on this guy. And everything stays the same. The honey is crazy heightened, and there's a peppery note as well from the cigar, because the pepper note that I got out of the 101 isn't there normally neat, and a pepper note on Irish, typically I don't find that. And I like pepper, so the pepper is really working into everything for my senses. Right, you still get the malt, the heavy dense malt characteristic, and the flowers or lavenders are still there, but there's like an ashy, peppery overtone to everything now, which as a peat head I really find attractive. All right, on the taste. So the cask strength Redbreast, I'm not too sure if it varies batch to batch, but this is batch 117 at 58.2%. Normally I like to water it down a little bit, to about 52%, just a drop or two. It releases a lot more sweet and subtle notes, a lot more vanillas as well. But it paired with a cigar. The ABV is not an issue whatsoever. If anything, it's softened it quite a bit. And it went out. All right, so I don't have to cut anything out. Another good, a very good tip for cigars is never to ash this way. You always want to dip and roll into an ashtray. I'm just using some mulch behind me. And excuse me 1 second, I need to get my matches. A good friend of mine, Raymond, you may know him if you're a part of the whiskey tribe as the whiskey mariachi, is my go-to guy for anything tobacco related. And yeah, I'm sure in the comments, if you guys have any questions about cigars as well, put it in the comment down below, and myself and I'll ask Raymond if he's able to, you know, answer some of your questions a little more professionally than I would be able to, as I am very novice with cigars. I do enjoy them. I have quite a number. It's just I smoke them to enjoy them. I don't really research or do a lot of in-depth stuff. All right, so going back to the 12-year-old, yeah, it does a lot of good things with the 12-year-old. Yeah, I can get behind this all day without having to water this down at all, which is my normal go-to with the 12. There's a lot of notes in here. There's a lot of complexity that builds off of the cigar that makes this really nice. And considering the weather and the high ABV, doesn't bother me one bit. I really like this. I really like this a lot with the cigar. All right, and now to my current favorite Isla, the Port Charlotte MC01, which is aged predominantly in ex-bourbon barrels, if I'm not mistaken, as well as a finish in Marsala casks. And Marsala, for those that aren't aware, is an Italian fortified wine out of Sicily. Marsala is used a lot in tiramisus, a lot of Italian baking, as well as just as just as a sipper, right? The Marsala cask itself on whiskeys tends to impart a lot of garden umami, which is just a lot of savory vegetal notes, right? So a lot of tomato vines and herbs, basil and rosemary and stuff like that, as well as a lot of like vegetables. Daniel from the Whiskey Vault, actually, when he tried an Italian whiskey that was aged 3 years in Marsala casks, described it as asparagus. He described it as a like barbecued asparagus stems, which I love. I love asparagus. I love the base stems of them. They get really crunchy and flavorful. But with the combination of the cigar, which for reference was the Romeo y Julieta No.3, the Marsala influence drops down, and you're left with all of your characteristically Isla flavors. So salt and brine and peat smoke, a chemically flavor and on the nose that I would describe almost as like pool chemicals. And that's not, I normally don't get pool chemicals off of an Isla, but with the cigar, that's what it's giving me, which is not bad. I enjoy like walking in and just smelling like a nice, freshly clean pool. Wonderful, wonderful. And obviously, you know, a lot of the standard ex-bourbon notes as well. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of barrel. It's a wonderful nose. It does suffer a little bit because you lose that Marsala finish. It's there, but it's not as prevalent as normal, which to me kind of takes away from the whiskey. But let's see if that changes on the taste. No, didn't change very much. The Marsala does take a back seat to the sweet and ashiness sweet ashiness of the cigar. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this one here with the cigar. Like, it would be, it's a waste. To me, it's a bit of a waste. Stupid planes. It's a bit of a waste to have a whiskey that's finished and not fully get that finish. So, yeah, the Port Charlotte MC01, before I even rate everything, it's going to be last. Only because it didn't do anything to heighten. It took away from the whiskey itself. So, Port Charlotte MC01 finishes last in the Romeo and Juliet #3 bracket. I'm gonna have to give the win. Well, I'm gonna give the second place to the Wild Turkey 101. As great as it was, and as nicely as it paired with the whiskey, well, with the cigar, it was good. But the sort of transformation and also the drinkability of the Redbreast 12 Cask strength at 58.2% with the cigar was fantastic. It evolved just enough to make it more interesting. It didn't take away very much. So yeah, first place goes to Redbreast 12 Cask strength. Second place to Wild Turkey 101. Third place, distant third place, to the Port Charlotte MC01. If you guys like this sort of setup and sort of the cigar and whiskey pairings, I could do more of them. Let me know in the comments below. Really appreciate everyone's feedback on this. I like sitting outside, and the sun is going behind the clouds now, which is nice. So yeah, so if you guys like this, let me know. Really appreciate it. And again, if you guys have any questions about cigars and cigar pairings with whiskey, ask away in the comments. I'll do a good job. I'll do as best a job as I can answering. If I can't, I'll have my buddy Raymond come into the comments and answer any of your questions. So yeah. So in the meantime, find us on Twitter and Facebook at The Cask Strengths. The Cask Strength. I apologize. No S. The Cask Strength. Myself and Josh are on Instagram now. Links are all in the description below. Please give a click, and if you guys are enjoying what we're doing, follow and like. And yeah, in the meantime, Redbreast 12 Cask Strength and myself are going to bid you guys adieu. So, till next time, guys, stay classy and stay safe. Slancha.